Hi, I'm Mike Young of Athletic Lab Sports Performance Training Center. In this next segment, we're going to talk about the factors that I consider when designing a speed and power session. In particular, we're going to look at some of the different metrics that I take into consideration when designing a speed module or a sprint session. First and foremost, we need to consider what our actual objective of the session is. Do we want to work on acceleration or do we want to work on top-end speed? How we address these two different things are going to be very different and dictate things like the rest that we take, the distances that we run, and so forth. So once we have established that, we're going to be able to look at the distances that we want to run and the total volumes that we can handle. If we're working on acceleration, typically we want to keep our rep ranges for linear acceleration speed in between about 10 to 30 meters, no more than 40 meters. That's the sweet spot for developing acceleration. If we're going to work on top-end speed, now we need to go a little bit longer. Most athletes won't hit top-end speed until they get to about 30 meters of straight-ahead running. As far as rest goes, we want to make sure that the athlete is fully recovered following every rep. In my mind, this is about 1 minute of rest for every 10 meters of running. For many, this seems like a long time, but this is what it takes to ensure that athlete is able to be fully capable of redlining their system on every single rep. As I've said before, to develop speed and power, we want maximum intent and minimal fatigue. So we don't want any undue fatigue that would interfere with the speed and power training stimulus. Once we know what we want to train, the objective, whether that's acceleration or top-end speed, that establishes our rep distances, which will in turn tell us how long we're going to rest between every rep. Now we can look at what our total volumes are, and that will set the framework for our workout as a whole. Typically, do volumes of sprint work in the range of 160 to about 300 total meters for acceleration work. If we're trying to develop top-end speed, that may go a little bit longer. For today, I'd like to take Darian through an acceleration development speed module. That's going to mean that we have to do shorter distances. I've chosen 10 meters for today because that's pure acceleration, starting from scratch, seeing how well that athlete can get up to speed quickly. We're going to do 10-meter sprints, which means that we're going to take anywhere from 30 to 60 seconds rest for every single repetition to ensure that athlete is ready to go and fully rested on every single rep. Darian, let's go ahead and take our first rep. As she goes through this workout, I'm giving Darian technical feedback in between every rep when necessary because sprinting is a task that is both physically dependent as well as technically dependent. So we're not just developing the physical capacity, we're also working on her technique. I'm looking at the times that she runs on every single rep to ensure that the rest that I'm providing for her is adequate so that she can express the horsepower needed to get the appropriate stimulus. I don't want to see her times drop off. If the times drop off significantly from rep to rep, that might be a sign that I need to shut things down. So on that repetition, I noticed that Darian was a little bit slower. I'm looking for about a 5% drop-off as the threshold for breaking down this workout. That drop-off was a little bit large, so I'm going to see whether that is representative of Darian's fatigue or whether she can do better on this next rep. If we see that same level of drop-off, I'm going to shut down the workout, even though she's only done 6 or 7 repetitions. So let's go ahead and take another one, Darian. On that one there, we saw that drop off in performance. We've reached the threshold of total volume that I'm looking to see in a workout like this, and we're seeing that decrement in performance. I think it's safe to say that we can cut this workout and move on.